Welcome back. Episode 10 of the Full Program Golf Podcast with me, Josh Conlon, and we'll be talking with Stevie McAvoy. Today, we are going to cover the Open Championship and a bit of a major review. So let's get into it. Stevie.
Joshua, how are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. Good weekend?
Lovely weekend. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, we keep doing this, though. We keep saying it's been a long time and we're going to get better. And we should get better, you know.
Do you know what, though? They say 40% of podcasts never make it to episode 10. And here we are.
Hey, here we are. Here we are. So we'll do a mini celebration for all the listeners.
Amen. Hey, lovely polo.
Hey, very nice. Great colour scheme that we've got going. We've got the navy with the navy, got the black with the black.
Very good.
Might be a white somewhere down the line.
Very exciting. We should probably show off the little right shoulder situation as well.
Yeah, and we'll keep the left chest just a quiet moment for.
Just want to congratulate you on being a sponsored athlete.
Feels great. Works for it for a long time, and you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, shout out to JL. Really appreciate the work we're doing with you. So thank you very much.
It was Kids on Christmas when that came, wasn't it?
It was that big box turning up with all the different goodies. We like stash, as we know. Yeah, beautiful kit, beautiful stuff.
Nice. So, how much golf do you watch over the weekend?
Oh, I wouldn't say I missed very much. I went out for dinner on Friday night when Scheffler was teeing off on 18. So basically, like, I know it wasn't last group, but they were finishing off the coverage. Mm-hmm. Obviously on the train, caught the last hole. Mm-hmm. So I'd maybe argue I've missed some of like the rundown, but otherwise I've seen every shot. How about yourself?
I did more than I have a lot of the majors this year. I was pretty good at the minute I woke up from Thursday onwards, just getting it on the iPad and just having it in the background and doing what I could. It is so many hours of sport when it's the Open. Yeah. And it's not necessarily when you have the American majors or American big tournaments, you can obviously kind of get home from work, settle into the settee at 6 p.m. and kind of watch it until it's done. Whereas it's like the Open kind of happens in a more, and it makes me think, like, what must watching the PGA Tour in America be like? Like, it must be, you know, a bit more of a background sport, whereas us, we know it so well as that evening sport. So yeah, try to have it on as much as possible. Definitely felt like got a good feel for the tournament, which is kind of what I was aiming for. But really enjoyed it. Love the Open.
I mean, it is sensational, isn't it? And there's not many things that I set a 6:25 alarm on for.
Oh, did you get up that early?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I've got to go see Podrick.
Were you there for Podrick?
Yeah, of course I was.
I like that.
Yeah, I was there in spirit, not in body. But it's sensational, and I think we're always going to have an affinity for the Open. It's always a brilliant tournament, barring Brian Harman's win, because A, the winner, unfortunately, I've got nothing against him, but boring winner, and B, he won by 1 million.
He did. And do you know what? When was it Friday that he hit the front?
Yes.
And
Friday lunchtime, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was sat with a couple of people and I said, if he wins, it's going to be a problem.
But would have helped the European Ryder Cup team if he was there.
It would. Do you know what? That's exactly where the topic of conversation went, because I think at Bethpage Black, if Brian Harman is one of those 12 players, that is an absolute result for Team Europe.
Yeah, I agree. Albeit he's a great driver of the ball. Mm-hmm. But yes, I agree. I think it's too big a golf course for him. But we digress, as always.
We digress. But no, it was, I mean, what a golf course.
It looked unbelievable. And
it did.
For it not even to, on the official rankings and the rank you look at, not being the top course, even in Northern Ireland, obviously RCD, massive golf course, and looks sensational. But from the coverage it got, there isn't a weak hole. There genuinely isn't. No,
I thought, I mean, you compare it to some of the other Open venues, and I mean, I don't want to drag its name through the dirt here, but somewhere like Hoylake, which is really quite flat and featureless, I would say, compared to what Portrush looked like with those dunes. And I think on the whole, for me, Irish golf is just, I think it has to be number one because that's super extreme. I mean, what was the tee shot down that par 5? Was it the 7th? has the dunes all up the right side.
Yeah, 7.
Oh, what a view it was from there. And I mean, that's one of many good holes on that golf course.
Yeah, brilliant. I loved the 5th. I loved just seeing how they took on the risk reward out of bounds, literally like 8 yards, 5 yards off the back of the green, and it's all shaved. And it just wasn't in play. No one hit it out of bounds long, I don't think. There was only Ricky Fowler who hit it out of bounds right, which was a horror show. And my boy Rosie tried to on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh God, I was really. So we're off to play Northants tonight, aren't we?
Yep.
And going to be the first time over there. And obviously, home club Justin Rose. We were talking early on in the week when he was looking good for parts, and we said it would have been just written in the stars to go to Northants the day after a Justin Rose Open win, but it wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't. The triple bogey on Friday. I believe it was Friday. It was like sort of Friday lunchtime-ish. Well, yeah, it was 11th hole on Friday, that triple bogey. Just stopped him dead in his tracks, didn't it? And I know he made a couple of birdies coming in afterwards, which is, hats off, great. Normally we'd have a head explosion, be rolling on the floor if it was any of the rest of us. He had a triple and a double, and I know we can say that about a lot of players in the field, and he was still at 6 under. So he'd have been tied 4th at 11 under without that. And obviously, you could say if someone didn't do this, if they didn't do that, they win it. But it just shows that he was really punished for 2 errant tee shots. 11 was bad, and you don't often see players losing balls in championship competitions, let alone major competitions for how many people are there.
Yeah.
And then a poor double on 16, which was a menace of a golf hole.
I'll tell you what, just a random thought I had when they were looking for that ball with Justin Rose. I remember being, I think, Muirfield in 13, and Kuchar lost a ball in kind of the thick stuff on one of the holes. And I would say I was one of 45 people stamping around in this grass of no more than kind of like, a few meters squared. And you're kind of walking amongst Kuchar and his caddy and the referees, you're kind of all crossing past each other, trying to walk a bit close to him, little brush of the shoulder. And it was just one of those more bizarre 5 minutes where everyone is so intently on the same mission, and it's such a bizarre mission in that moment. He had to go back to the tee just to conclude that. But anyway, we should talk about our winner, Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah. And just interesting, the 5-minute rule.
Yeah.
Rosie only had his 3.
No, I know. Brutal.
Yeah. Moving on to Scheffler. I saw actually a stat popped up, one of the many stats we all see when winners start. It starts happening that they're going to win, or then they win. And I think it was something along the lines of Tiger won his first major.
I like this
and
one.
It took him 1,117, I think it was, days to win his 4th major, and it's the exact same number for Scottie Scheffler, which I actually just think is mental. Just the fact that it's the same. Obviously, he's not in the same bracket as Tiger yet, but what I actually have to say is if he's still doing this in 10, 15 years' time, we will be talking about a similar career to Tiger Woods. So it's just over a smaller period.
I didn't look it up. I don't know what the age difference between Tiger winning his 4th and Scottie now winning his 4th is. Scottie's a bit older, a couple more years, I'd imagine. But I did see that fact, and that is one of those spooky ones in sport. But I mean, it has. I saw another thing kind of alluding to that same time period where in 16 months or so, Scottie Scheffler has matched the career of Jordan Spieth.
Now that is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. And
because Spieth is a Hall of Fame career.
100%.
He's one away from the Grand Slam. I do think he'll fall short.
Yeah, and actually a really interesting point you bring up there, because I think if someone asked me, not knowing what Scottie had won, where does this game suit the most? I would say he is absolutely nailed to the post going to win a US Open.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you? The only downside would have been his putting. And he's just put everybody off the planet.
I can't believe he was first in and he was first by a long shot, wasn't he, in strokes gained putting. But he actually said in an interview, I don't know if you saw it, where he said he was like, growing up, he was always a good putter. And him saying that and mentally him having that he thinks he can get back to the point where he's actually good at putting is, I think, quite a scary thought, because I mean, his ball striking is just off the charts, where he just knew where to miss it. I mean, Ted Scott obviously does a fantastic job with him as well, but he is just surgical around these golf courses.
Yeah, it's boring to watch, but it's also awe-inspiring to watch. He is just the best by a mile.
Yep.
He is phenomenal. It's interesting because for me, putting is as much as it's a stroke and technique, it's a mental thing.
Yeah,
the more aggressive and the more confident you're feeling, the more putts you're going to hole.
Yep.
And for the whole of the world telling you you're a crap putter, basically, which is what Scheffler has had.
Yeah.
And to just go,
And he was.
no, actually he was. But to go, no, actually, I'm not. Like, I was a good putter. I'm going to turn it around is also testament to... And the Sky Sports interview afterwards, they said, probably your biggest strength is your mental game. And it just, again, shows that.
What do you make of all this stuff that, I've actually seen now his post-winning press conference where he's again kind of talking about that, winning isn't the most important thing in life, blah, blah, blah. What are your comments on that press conference he gave around the Scottish and then going into the Open and blowing everyone away?
It's easy to say it when you're winning.
Yeah.
Like, winning's not everything. Yeah, that's because you're winning. Winning is everything if you fell off a planet.
Yeah.
If he did a David Duval in 2 years and he's gone from world number one, winning everything to absolutely nowhere, winning would suddenly be everything again.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to say obviously family's important and other things are important, but I mean, it was a power play, wasn't it? It's good. I don't really care. And I'm going to beat you all by a million.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It is boring.
Yeah, and on that, so I actually quite like Scottie Scheffler as it goes. Like I quite enjoy his golf game. I quite like him, but it just doesn't give me that saucy romance that I want from a golf tournament winner. And I thought celebrations were relatively muted, and I suppose they would be if you won by 5. But like Tiger used to just give you something, didn't he? He'd walk one in, he'd fist pump it, he'd just do something. Whereas it does feel like Scottie just kind of walks you down, hugs his kid, thanks his family, and moves on to the next one.
Yeah, the biggest show of emotion was the 6th when he was scrabbling around the par 3 6th. He didn't hit a great tee shot, chipped it to about, he was down in the valley, chipped it to about 11, 15 feet, banged it in for par, and he gave a full-on fist
Gave
bump.
it a little something, didn't he?
And that was to go like 31 holes bogey-free. Then obviously he kept it together on the par 5 7th when he looked like he was making bogey, then made the stupid double, which...
It was a stupid double.
But he was 7 ahead.
I know.
I don't think there is a world he tries to hit the shot he hits if he's 1 or 2 ahead. I think that is the shot of a guy who's like, look, I'm 32 holes bogey free. I'm going to win this tournament. I'm just going to try and not make a bogey. And he didn't.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But what I will say, and the reason why I do like the Open, is I'd love to get the stats on like double bogey, triple bogey count versus other golf tournaments, because it feels like there's always a chance of a double, triple at the Open.
We'll have a look.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, I just feel like on other courses, it's like you said, when do you even hear about a pro losing a ball or anything? Whereas I like there's actual real danger out there if you hit an errant tee shot. But yeah, he was good. He was by far the best all week. It really wasn't a Sunday, was it? In the end, I mean, at what point did you think it was over?
Genuinely, when he holed, I mean, obviously he's winning going into the weekend. You're like, oh dear. Again, I don't have anything against Scottie Scheffler. I just want to watch 4 rounds of competitive golf.
I can agree more.
When he started with his 6 pars on Saturday morning, Fitzpatrick chipped in for eagle to match him. They're both at 10. I'm like, all right, cool, great, like we can go. Obviously Fitzpatrick supports the wrong side in Sheffield, but we can move past that. We can
It's quite heavy on it as well, isn't it?
It's just embarrassing, isn't
it?
Yeah. We all know Wednesday's the biggest side, but that's not a thing to talk about today. And then he just eagles 7, birdies 8. I just felt that was so ominous. He'd just been pretty average, and he'd almost just been like, oh, they've caught me. All right, we'll go again.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the moment, 7 holes in on Saturday, that he won the Open. And that is a ridiculous thing to say. I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, because he was still only 2 ahead at that point. But he only went more and more ahead than that.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, isn't it? Everyone wants the competition over the weekend, and it was a great Thursday, Friday. The lead was changing. They thought that the the morning late was going to be the best side of the draw in terms of the weather, and it turned out that the late morning was the best side, but it really wasn't that much of a difference. They got 4. Barring the deluge for an hour when Scottie and the afternoon starters were out on the Friday, they had phenomenal weather for Irish golf over a 4-day period.
And to be honest, that was the bit that almost separated Scottie the most, as the Friday through that weather. But yeah, like you said, I didn't feel like this Open had a side of the draw which was particularly better than other, which was good because Harmon won at Hoylake because he had I can't remember if it was the Friday or the Saturday, he was out early and just I think it was Friday, and just shot 65 or whatever it was, and just absolutely obliterated the scoring average that day, and then set him up for the weekend where he got it done. So yeah, it was I just think Portrush is a fantastic Open venue, and I really am a supporter of them going back there that quickly. Obviously, Lowry in 19 was absolutely epic, and I hopefully see a lot more kind of going in the future. And congrats to Scottie, best player of the week by far. But
just before we move on, bit of a controversial one, but wanted to get your take on it because I have a strong take on it.
Looking forward to it.
The British Open, the Open.
Do you know what? It just crossed my mind when I was saying that there. Go on.
The British Open, the Open, okay.
Yeah.
Portrush is Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
It's not Britain.
I'm going to answer. No, it shouldn't, but you can ask it.
So, I get why they get it, and that's great, fantastic, phenomenal.
Completely behind it.
Portmarnock is in Dublin. Portmarnock is in Ireland.
Yeah.
It is not in Britain. It is not even in the UK.
It's not.
How should it have an Open? I'll ask the question before I answer it. Should it have an Open?
As I'd already answered, no, I don't think it should. And this is actually, I'm going to bring it onto a kind of wider point now, and then we'll answer that question as we go. Is kind of the amount of golf that Great Britain and Ireland get in the golfing calendar. I just want to kind of pin that for us, but no, I don't. And I think I am a bit of a sucker for history. Quite kind of set in my ways in that sense. And whilst Portmarnock is an absolutely fantastic golf course, and if they go to Portmarnock, does that open the floodgates of where else you could go in Ireland? And there's obviously amazing golf courses that I would love to see the biggest and the best golf tournament at. Much to my point,
make the PGA there.
Thank you. But it is the Open, but we know it is the British Open. Yep. It has always been a course on the British Isles. Except and Portmarnock.
Except for Portrush now.
Yeah, but Northern Ireland exactly. But by the sounds of it, and I feel like we've got the most confirmation we've had this week that they are really gearing up to go to Portmarnock. Which, I'll watch it, but I think it'll be strange.
I think it's wrong. I think it's completely wrong, especially when you think Wales hasn't even had one. I know Royal Porthcawl has got the ladies.
Which
was really interesting to watch. I think, having not played Porthcawl and one that I'd really love to play, I think they talk about the infrastructure being its potential setback.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't, for me, go to Ireland before you've been to Wales. It's just wrong. And what's next? The Irish Open's going to be played at Ganton. You know what? Let's just, who cares what the name of the Open is? We just, that's another Open. That's another good golf course. We'll chuck it there. Why not?
Yeah.
French Open's now going to be played at Marco Simone.
Okay, well, let me throw this at you. You're sat on the USPGA board, and you're suggesting that the PGA should go to Ireland. The USPGA should go to Ireland.
Well, that's only if they're looking to start maybe calibrating the making it a bit fair around the world. I think Australia should have a major event. But I agree, if it's the USPGA, then it should be in the US. But US seems to have a bit of a monopoly in golf.
Something is slightly off, I have to say, just generally speaking. Now, we can't have a world, in my opinion, where we elevate a fifth tournament to a major status like the ladies did. I just think that then skews the record books, and I don't think that's the way to go. But somehow we've got to wrestle one, and it's going to be the PGA Championship. That's got to be wrestled away from America, and I think then you have two in America, and then you have one. It'd be the best of it. It'd be rest of the world, and then us, including Ireland, and then you had the British Open, the Open.
Yeah.
If you had that set up, And then you poured, and so a point I wanted to bring up with you. I mean, really, for me, watching true links golf is some of the best watching going outside of the Masters.
But the Masters has its own allure, like knowing the course. We all know what's happening.
Exactly. First one of the year, like everyone just, you know.
The song comes on, Georgia.
Sing it. But, you know, we watch Scottish Open, which goes straight into the Open, which is always a fantastic 2-week stretch, gets really excited. You always hear about sightings of players at kind of neighbouring courses. It's all quite good fun. And then Irish comes in a bit later on in the season, and then the Dunhill comes always what I feel is too late in the season. It's always freezing up in St Andrews.
Yep.
And then that's really, bar throwing one or two, you know, well, that is really it, isn't it? I can't even think what the one or two thrown in
Wentworth.
But that's not links golf.
No, not links golf. I'm just even thinking, how much do we get in England?
I mean, we could do an English Open, to be honest, for a starter. Add that in. And
it's the British Open, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we can just take the Irish, as I said. You know, we'll just bring the Irish Open over to England because they're putting the British there.
But it's just too many good golf courses, and we're playing at, I don't know, PGA Deer Run or whatever. I mean, like, come on, lads.
It's poor, and
TPC Deer Run.
Yeah, the other thing that's like the Irish Open. We think about the Irish Open. Obviously, last year it was at Royal County Down, wasn't it? Rasmus won.
Epic.
Rasmus Højgaard won. It was fantastic. But for a few years, it was at some real dross. I'm sorry. Ireland has unbelievable golf.
Yeah.
The Irish Open should be played, as the Scottish Open is now, on a great links golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's had Castle Stewart. Obviously, it's now at Renaissance. Slightly less linksy, but still links. Ireland should be being played at Lahinch. It should be being played at Ballybunion. It should be being played at Portmarnock. Any of these others, you know, I'm just listing them off. But we all know this. There's so much golf there that it should have. It shouldn't be played at, was it like Killeen Castle or something like that? That was Druids Glen. It's just, all right, they're fine resort courses, but we see resort courses every time the PGA Tour goes around the US. It needs to be the best of Ireland.
Yeah,
I'm banging on about it, but it needs to be. It's a shame, and we need to see more golf here. More links golf,
and even I mean, I feel like these guys are missing the trick. I mean, I think JCB's a good course and holds a good tournament, but Live Golf should be throwing, and I've listened to various podcasts, and I know they're looking at it at the moment. I suppose it's just getting one of these courses to let them on. But a Live Golf Links tournament in Great Britain or Ireland needs to happen, and I think again that will fill, much like Adelaide does. It will fill where there is a void to a certain extent. So I'd like to see that as well. Yeah,
that's a really nice idea. It's just once the courses get in bed with Live at the minute, they seem to lose all their status with getting events. You look at Valderrama. Valderrama's instantly lost the Spanish Open.
Has it really?
Lost the Spanish Open. That now goes to Real Soto Grande, which is next door. A good golf course, not as good as Valderrama.
Yeah.
You literally look at what's the best in Spain as Valderrama. What's the second best? It's Soto Grande. So you're like, it's factual that's wrong. JCB, they're in bed with Live again. They're not even getting looked at anything. I know they got the seniors going to get in Live.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting a look at as a result of that. They're the only two that we've got here. It's interesting. Centurion Club, which was the first ever Live event, never been mentioned to have anything else since. I think it might have had an Aramco series event with the ladies, but it doesn't have the same want to play or want to showcase it. Again, Aramco's a Saudi-based company, right? So it's almost like once you give up or give a tournament to Live, you lose your status, which is wrong as well.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite hopeful that we're going to get closer to something happening there because obviously PGA's got a new CEO now who is from the NFL, and then Liv's new CEO is also from, I think he's more NBA, if I'm correct in thinking, but he's basically quite good friends with, and they've worked together before, the new PGA guy. So at least there's now common ground kind of built on a business friendship at the very least. And so I do think they'll be able to get around a table more often. I know the Piff chap goes and plays the Dunhill as in the program up there, and so I think that's always a good opportunity each year for them to get together. So hopefully we'll see some movement, but as I said, who knows? Anyway, let's get back to the Open. I want to just
I know you want to jump in, but just a quick one finishing. Just coming back towards the Open, it still has the sort of the live tint to it. Great to see Graham McDowell in the box. Really enjoyed listening. I love his accent. It's fantastic. Some of the ways he says some things. I've got one of the boys. We were on a trip actually up to East Lothian. We have a good giggle about some of the pronunciations. His American Northern Irish accent.
He's so lost in the middle of the Atlantic, isn't he, G-Mac?
He really is. But it was great to see him being used by Sky, and obviously I know that's we're UK based, so we watch it on the Sky. It was good to see him in the studio, on the commentary, in his Smash kit.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised that they were happy for that to be the case, and happy to see it.
Yeah, no, happy to see it. I think they couldn't ignore the fact that GMAC is a Northern Irish major winner who grew up playing on the Valley, predominantly at Portrush. And so, yeah, I think they, go on then. So yeah, I just wanted to get back to the Open and talk about a couple of other notable performances and get your opinion on it. And so the first one was, I cannot believe after his first round on the Thursday how high up that leaderboard DeChambeau managed to climb.
It's outrageous, actually. It's +7, 78 day one. To then finish at 9 under is frightening. Absolutely frightening. What would he be? 16 under if he'd have been if he'd have shot level par on day one.
I believe he shot the joint lowest final 54 total in the Open ever to match Henrik Stenson the year that he won, where he just
16, true.
Yeah, he shot the absolute shot 63 on the Sunday, and obviously him and Phil were a million ahead, and so just makes you think. I mean, and there was a lot of chat about DeChambeau this week because he hit such a high ball flight, and they were saying of all the majors, it's probably going to be the one he's going to struggle to win the most. But I mean, if he just shot even a half decent score on that Thursday, he'd have been right up there with Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, agreed. My question is, we've even just mentioned it on the podcast here. The weather was so good. Those same length golf clubs. I mean, who am I to ask the question? I can't play links golf to that level at all. But will they ever allow him to win an Open? I don't think that links golf is set up for, given the different lies, the amount of undulation that he's facing, to have pitching wedges at the same distance, at the same length as 7-irons. And I think he got found out the first day when the weather maybe was a little bit windier. But again, it could just be talking absolute waffle.
I was listening to, Smiley Kaufman did like a 20-minute podcast at the end of each day, and he said that he followed Bryson a little bit on Thursday, and he said that in the kind of longer fescue, whatever you want to call it, when Bryson gets in there, that these same length clubs, it really struggles to get through it with quite the kind of slicing consistency, I suppose, as what a shorter pitching wedge or whatever would be. And so he was just struggling with kind of judging how it would come out of there. And so obviously when he was on the planet, which he must have been for the vast majority of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he is an incredibly talented golfer and scored incredibly well. But I do think, like you said, if the wind gets up, the conditions get bad, and he starts going a bit more errant with his tee shots, I do think he's going to struggle. However, like you think about it, Tiger won at Hoylake, and it was absolutely baked out for the 4 days there. I mean, maybe, I don't think he will win one, just to be clear, but maybe if he just catches that absolutely beautiful weather 4-day, maybe St George's, Royal St George's, better weather potential down there, that he'd have a shot. But I said, if you put a gun to my head and go, is Bryson DeChambeau going to win an Open before his career's over? I'd say no.
Interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting moving to Birkdale next year. See the changes as well.
Yeah. Well, it sounds of it, he's locked up his Ryder Cup spot.
Yes.
Which it'll be interesting to. I mean, how many live players off the top of your head do you think actually going to make the teams?
One.
What you think?
I think DeChambeau will be the only one from live.
What, you don't think Rahm's going to play for Europe?
Oh, for Europe. I thought
Yeah. Sorry.
I jumped in too quickly there, didn't I?
Sorry. I should have framed my question better, but
I think so. US wise, I think it will only be DeChambeau.
Mhm.
I think if Koepka had been playing anything like the Brooks Koepka that we think of over the last 5-10 years, probably a little bit too long, but recent times, having won at Bethpage as well, the most recent, was it US Open or USPGA? Obviously, it's one of those, but I can't remember which one it was at the time. I think that he would have been a serious contender for a pick,
Yep.
but his form has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
So I can't see him getting picked. In terms of the European side, I think there's 2 locks in Rahm and Hatton, for sure. I think that will maybe be it. I can't see Garcia getting picked. I know he had an okay Open, but I still think he needed to do more.
Did you see his driver break?
Yeah. On the second tee. What's he doing?
Yeah. I mean, he must be in his 40s now.
Yeah. He should be picked just for his dress sense. It's horrific. That kit is shocking.
That is, I mean, I've got quite a lot of issue with the live kit generally, but the Fireballs might take the cake for just the most awful. And I get it, they're Spanish, but you don't have to wear all red and yellow, lads.
It's heinous. It's hanging.
Yeah.
You know, Rahm's Spanish. He doesn't. He wears okay kit.
Yeah, God.
I can't get on board with his plum trousers. Similar to one of the boys chasing who has his plum trousers. It's still better than the red and yellow.
Yeah, the Vino trousers. Oh, goodness me. Yeah. Rahm had a disappointing Open, actually. I thought he was going to be up there, but...
He did. Yeah, I thought he would be much more of a contender, much more of a say in the tournament than he was. Same with Fleetwood. I know he ended up finishing strong, but I expected much, much more. Same with Hovland. I expected a lot more. Hovland just stuck it in reverse once he made the cut, which was a real shame. But there has to be, and maybe this moves us on nicely into someone else's notable performance who was unbelievable, and we really need to cover this bloke in a bit of detail. There has to be a massive benefit to playing links golf the week before the Open as opposed to playing Valderrama like the live players did a week before. Now, I know Valderrama's difficult, but it's a completely different style of golf course. Chris Gotterup. Oh my word.
What a stretch.
I saw, and I don't know if you saw those, you probably did. In his career, pre-Scottish Open, he had earned $2,768,000.
Yeah.
In these 2 weeks, he has earned $2,700,000. 703, I think it was, if we're being precise. So he's about 65k short of his career earnings in 2 weeks. I mean, he must, when he gets back home and he walks through his front door, he's just like, yep, I'm upscaling.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of him.
Nope.
Had you not?
No, I know.
Blimey, goodness me. I mean, that if that doesn't really underscore the come up and how severe it was, he looked like quite a good player, to be honest, and he hit a really good link style shot, is what I felt from the bits I've watched him in the last 2 weeks. Hits a nice flighted ball, but he just stormed on in the weekend, didn't he? And he closed the door on the Scottish as well. I really thought Scottish was going to be a really good back nine, and he just waltzed.
Yeah, it was easy. Like it was great. I mean, he went toe to toe with McIlroy, and with, again, too much love for McIlroy on the commentary. It was great to watch him just win. It was just like, nah, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And then he just took the piss out of the par fives at Portrush, quite frankly. I think he was 12, 13 under on... he went on the 12th hole. He went birdie, eagle, eagle, and missed an 8-footer for eagle on the third day. So he was 6 under just on that hole.
Sorry, I know we've already covered him, but talking about 4-day runs, did you see Scottie Scheffler's run on, was it the 16th, over that kind of big ravine to go, I think, 2-2-2-3, and he held out for the 3, and the commentary team were like, tough bogey that. Yeah, I mean, that was incredible. But yeah, Chrissy he's going to be counting cash.
Yeah.
Was he a PGA Tour status guy who just came over for the Scottish, or is he an American player on the DP World Tour? Like, I don't even know the background. I mean, I suppose you probably don't know either if you didn't know who he was.
I would expect that he's high enough up to get an invite to be at that. Yeah. So he has to be, I would guess, PGA, because it is still a elevated field, isn't it, to be at the Scottish. It's one of the Rolex Series events, and it's got the joint PGA status. So to even get, he wasn't even in the Open when he teed it up at the Scottish. He just came over without anything. And
he was second outright in the end at the Open, wasn't he? Or was it?
He was third outright. I thought Harris English was second outright.
Yes, no, I think you're right. Harris English was 13. Gossarat was 12, I think.
Yeah, and then there was a group at 11. Another guy who I expected to just stick it in reverse who didn't. Hao Tong Lee.
Yeah, played
nicely.
What a
boy.
Just hits the fade, doesn't he?
All day.
Fade of the golf ball.
Complete the backswing.
Yeah. He's quite intense as well. Like when he was trying to get in the final group on Saturday, I think he went in the bunker on 18, hit mini driver into the bunker. It was a silly play, it felt, because it was just like mini driver exactly got to the bunker, whereas driver would have been past, or obviously a long iron would have been laid back. And he was just fuming at himself. I enjoyed it. But he was never going to challenge, was he? But a great week. I mean, that obviously gets him back into the Open next year, which I'm not sure he'd have been guaranteed. So I think you've got to look at it when Scottie Scheffler wins by that many, that if I think it's top 12, get exemption the following year. I mean, that's a really, really good week's work for someone like Hao Tong Lee.
Phenomenal. Yeah. He was, I was like, it must be his highest major finish. Really well done. And nope, he shot 63 in 20, I can't remember what year, to finish T3 at St Andrews. So whatever year it was at St Andrews, I know it's there every 5 or 6 years, isn't it? But I think it was when Cam Smith won.
Yeah.
No, it might have been the one before that even. He looked a very young man. He was playing with Ernie Els in the last round. So again, it must have been when Ernie was still...
Blimey.
Still doing it.
Yeah, anyone else that you want to shout out kind of down the leaderboard as we think about it?
Got a couple more. Wyndham Clark, obviously he's been in the news with his redecorating around Oakmont. For me, looked like he did a great job. The removal men were coming; they were really changing some of those locker rooms. You know, when like something happens and maybe the person who is set to react doesn't react that much, and then like someone gets in their ear and goes, "That's unacceptable. Are you going to let them get away with that? Are you just going to let them disrespect you like that?" I feel like that's what happened to someone at Oakmont. And he went, "I'm going to ban him!" You're not telling me that doesn't happen often enough. Like, I think I saw a tweet. I think it was actually McDowell tweeted out that he wasn't the only one to have done it. And he's certainly not the only one that they've seen doing it.
Yeah.
So I think he was just a scapegoat. It got in the media and they had to do something. Which is, but again, he's had a poor season by his standards. It was a very good Open performance for him. Again, another person you wouldn't expect to maybe be competing, but albeit he was phenomenal at LA. Yeah,
well, to be honest, I think it just shows how good the weather was, really, when you see people like Harris English up there, Wyndham Clark up there. I mean, these are quite American-styled golfers, I would say. But yeah, very good finish for him. One would assume the Oakmont situation will play out and common sense will prevail. I think Kisner on the American coverage even said, like, really, the question there is who let that photo get leaked? Because, yeah, my understanding is it does happen all the time. I'm not surprised. This is their livelihood and it doesn't always go right. And obviously from full swing, we know that Wyndham's very about the mentals and being focused and driven and delivering. And
he's not been.
Yeah, it was crap.
Yeah, he's not been delivering. But a guy who has delivered, really want to call him out. Obviously, a close friend of the pod, Sam Truman, top coach. Go and see him if you need some lessons. Coaches Nathan Kimsey.
Yep.
And
it's probably an unknown quantity to most, but I'll let you tell them on.
You know, I think it's fair to say a bit of a journeyman DP World Tour player.
Mm-hmm.
Been on and off the tour, had a bit of a struggle with injuries. Won tour qualifying school a couple of years ago, and then again has had a battle with injuries. And went to Cinque Ports for final open qualifying, Royal Cinque Ports deal, as we know it as well. And went 36 holes, bogey free.
Wow.
Finished second, like unbelievable.
Yeah, that's off the charts.
And to then firstly make the cut, which I don't think is the level of the ambition he should have, because he is, you know, we went and saw him at Walton Heath for the US Open qualifying, and he was putting with a live rattlesnake and missed it by 2. As in, genuinely.
And you know what one of those looks like, don't you,
boy? He was phenomenal. Like a joke. It was like, okay, how close to the middle of the fairway do you want it to be? 1 or 2 yards? Unbelievable. Like, this is not going to be a shot in the dark. You know, he will be at more majors. This was his first ever major. Made the cut, which is great. And then to have the romance of a Bryson DeChambeau pairing on the Saturday.
Love that.
Matched him. And then to have a Bryson DeChambeau pairing on the Sunday. So he played 36 holes with DeChambeau.
Doubler header.
Yeah, up front to watch a joke of a weekend from DeChambeau, as we've covered. And to still finish under par. Still shot. When Sunday started poorly, was I think 2 or 3 over par front 9, but came in 2 or 3 under to shoot level par. Finished at 2 under. Just want to shout out, great week for Kimsey and the Kimsey troop.
Surely if you had 2 rounds of DeChambeau and you had anything about it, you'd be like, right, come on, let's do a video or something. Little Brave 59, me and you, come on, look at that, come on, we'd do it with me, come on, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the Open, maybe.
No, very good finish for Kimsey. And it must have been great fun for Truman being on site all week, being the lad behind him on the range, shades on. Yeah. Hope he got himself a little like Sean Foley man bag or something like that. You know what I mean? A couple of training aids.
Yeah, walking around using alignment stick as his walking stick. You know, just like, let him know I'm a coach.
Yeah. Big swing tag.
Yeah,
get the lanyard on, lad. Anyone else to finally top us off?
I think that covers. I think we've covered half the field there, to be honest. You know, we've mentioned a couple of notable absences. You know, Hovland's, the Rahms, not really quite doing it. I expected Hatton to make a run at it.
Yeah, he played well though.
He did.
He's a good player.
He's so good, and normally his putting is so good. And I actually thought on Sunday it was weak. Missed a shorty on the 2nd for bogey, missed a shorty on the 5th for bogey, missed a lot of that range where if you're going to compete in any week, forget even Scottie being there, you have to hold those 10, 15 footers. And he just didn't. He held a bomb on 11, but like just didn't quite do it. Rosie, we've covered him, did all right. Pre-tournament, had a bit of a flutter, just a couple of quid here and there on Lee Westwood.
Where did he finish in the end?
He finished at -2, so not in the top 12.
That 29 back 9 though was
it was tasty. And you see the putt that he hit on 18 that nearly went in. It was like it lipped out for 28, for 7 birdies back 9.
Did you see his interview afterwards about the
tuna sandwich?
Yeah. I would say so. About 2 weeks before the Open, I saw Rose down at a golf club I was at, and Justin Rose is a big bloke. Like he looked like an athlete.
Yeah, big-hearted as well. Great man.
What a heart. Wears it right on his sleeve as well, doesn't he? Yeah. What a lad. Hope he gets in the Ryder Cup team. All right, Open 2025. One thing I just did want to say, I don't know if you managed to catch, what I do enjoy about major weeks is there's always good kind of documentary shows on various years around the coverage. And I wonder if you managed to see it in this year. And one in particular that I watched, which came on straight after the final round yesterday, before the highlights that started at 9 p.m. Yes, I continued to be locked in. Was a show called Underdog, which basically kind of Netflix style looked at the '09 Open at Turnberry, which Stuart Sink won. Did you manage to catch that?
I didn't. It's one that sounds very interesting, albeit a poor winner.
Yeah, so, well, but this is what was so interesting. So, like, the whole thing is, and I won't bore you to tears with it, but obviously it was an amazing tournament, and at the time, Watson was 59. Everyone was talking about this being, like, the greatest sporting feat in history, because he literally was about to start collecting his social security allowance, and he was about to win the Open Championship. And every day he was the big story, big story, big story. And then what I didn't remember is he hit the fairway on 18, 72nd hole.
Yep.
He then flushed an 8-iron, which for all the world just looked on it.
Through the back.
And then it hit a downslope, and it literally landed on about a foot. And if it hadn't landed on that foot, either side of it, he'd have been stiff or just short and putting up. Obviously, they lost the playoff, but the whole thing is they're interviewing Stuart Sink at the same time, and it's just like Stuart Sink's always been this forgotten man. He played in a President's Cup team and a Ryder Cup team, where on the stage, the captain, you know, when they're like introducing the players, just forgot to do him. So the Ryder Cup, it was Corey Pavin's year, and they're going down the line, and they're like 10th player is like Tiger Woods, stands up, claps. The rest of them are still standing from 1 to 9, and then they just go, Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler's the 12th player, and Stuart Sink just sat in the middle. Fowler stood up and Tiger Woods stood up, and he was just like, this was just me. This was my life. I was just always the forgotten man. And so, you know, he's talking about how he dreamed to win this major, and essentially he's just been bashed for almost 20 years now about ruining the greatest sports moment in history. But no, I did enjoy it, and I love those. A bit like, you know, the Masters 2025 hour long that will be played probably in the build up to the 2026 Masters, like stuff like that can really get
I
bored
won't
with.
watch that.
So that segues us nicely. Let's, because we haven't caught up in a while, Joshua, let's just do a quick recap of the major championship season, which I have to say, it's always a shame when it ends on the 20th of July.
Yeah, it's a joke. The PGA moving to May was the wrong move.
Get it back.
To create space for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Bore off.
Was it that? I suppose it must have been a combination of that, and then they did it Olympic year, didn't they? But I think you move it for Olympic year, but it comes and it goes, and it's just like, what are we doing? It's like the summer, the golfing season as we know it feels like it's just hotting up now. Like we're in the belly of it. Games are starting to round into a good bit of form. Courses are in good condition. And it feels like we've got a couple of months in us, and I don't really care about the FedEx Cup playoffs, I have to say. And so luckily it's a Ryder Cup year. Otherwise we'd be looking for all the Masters.
Yeah, and they got rid of one of the best tournaments of the year to watch, which was the Dell Match Play, which was typically at Austin. It had been all over the place. You know, it had been in Arizona. I always think that was a brilliant watch. A few weeks. It was always like sort of early, mid-March. I appreciate it's not now.
Yeah.
Now, but just I think the golfing calendar is just wrong at the moment.
I getting rid of the WGCs, when you think about it, was a really bold play, because you're essentially, if you came to me and go, okay, we are a 49 tournament tour, which I think is roughly what the PGA Tour is. That's, you know, roughly one a week, maybe skip for Christmas kind of thing. We are going to have a shake-up, and we are going to remove our 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th biggest tournament, virtually.
Yep.
What? Like, how does that get across the line in any boardroom anywhere?
Yeah, well, it's because they've now got this elevated series, haven't they?
But like, they had those anyway. Like, the Arnold Palmer's still the Arnold Palmer.
Yeah. No, I agree. What should have happened is those four, and one of them was typically in China, wasn't it? So again, one of the
HSBC, wasn't it?
big ones has gone.
Yeah. The Grove had one in 2006. So Tiger Woods won in the Grove. And so there was potential in the WGC to move about a bit. So anyway, so let's just recap quickly. We always had McIlroy win the 2025 Masters. We then went to...
I don't think that was ever mentioned, to be fair. I don't think I've seen anyone cover McIlroy winning the Masters, actually. No, I've not seen anything.
You enjoyed that Sunday in April, did you?
I was so gutted when Rose lost that playoff. Like, actually so gutted. Had money on him. Loved the bloke. I don't actually have anything against McIlroy. What I have against him is the amount of coverage and how far Paul McGinley's tongue is lodged up his arse. It's honestly frightening. You turn it on and McIlroy could have shot 75 and you watch every single one of his shots on the highlights. You're like, what? Can you show me the leaders, please? I actually want to watch some of the golf. So that's my problem with it. I don't actually have a problem with McIlroy. I think he shifts the needle. I agree with that. So I understand the coverage. But it is just a bit tiring. And like, even coming back to the Open, you go, oh, Rory, what does he need to do to catch Scheffler? Oh, shut up. What does he need to do to catch Scheffler? Shoot him. That's the only way he's catching him this week. It's tiring,
Oh, dear.
Anyway, I could rant on, so I'm going to stop. But yeah, it was a good win for McIlroy, a good Grand Slam win.
Yeah, look, I'm not the biggest McIlroy fan either, to be honest. But I am a sucker for history, and it was amazing to see that emotion that came out when he won. It was obviously an incredible back nine with him constantly trying to throw it away and then being pretty magic in between. But as you know, I really felt for Justin Rose, because I mean, could you imagine you go through your golfing career and twice, not once but twice, you have no one beat you over 72 holes at the Masters, and somehow you open your closet and your jackets are all navy and grey still?
Yeah, that is a shame. And he went Open, shot the second lowest round of the day, out in the second last group. Unfortunately, played with Schauffele, who shot the lowest round of the day. He did nearly everything right.
Yeah,
Masters did nearly everything right. He deserved to win it with his performance. McIlroy shot into 18 on its own. Should have just been like, oh, you were level with Rose, were you? Yeah, you're not in the playoff, because that was appalling.
It's interesting, really flying all over the map here, but Darren Clarke, I think, was 42 when he won his Open, and I remember thinking, whoa, what an good on the old man kind of vibe.
He'd had a few drinks though, hadn't he?
Yeah, he'd aged himself, I think, D. Clarke, and was definitely not playing at the level, so it was unexpected. But you now look at it now, we've moved on a generation, and Rose is around that age now, and so but I something in me thinks that Rose has got one in him still. I mean, he's playing good enough golf, he's finishing high enough, and I think he's steely enough to get it done. But it was a shame to see him have to be the one fall short there. But I thought the McIlroy Masters, which was covered immensely, was an incredible golf tournament, and one certainly I enjoyed from an emotional roller coaster perspective very much.
Yeah, good event. Masters always delivers. Even when it doesn't, it's still the Masters.
Yeah, 100%. And then we cruised onto the PGA, which Scottie Scheffler obviously won relatively comfortably. Not a particularly inspiring golf course, I didn't think, and not a particularly inspiring tournament. I don't know if you had any 2 cents on the PGA.
I mean, it's the PGA, isn't it? It's the fourth major. Yeah. I mean, and it's so obviously the fourth major, which is why, coming back to the earlier conversation, if they shook it up, it might get a little bit more interest, because it's a bit different. We remember the Masters, we remember the story. Scheffler won, again, as you mentioned, pretty comfortably. I couldn't even tell you who was in the top 5.
I was going to say, I can't remember who was second.
So that in itself says it all. I'm sure there's listeners screaming at us going, oh, there was this story, oh, that story. Of course, there'll be some things that were brilliant, and it's a major, we're going to watch it, it will have been great. But it's now a couple of months ago, and we've moved on.
Yeah, and I think, interesting your take on this. For me, I'm sure there'll be people that disagree, but for me, the major rankings are so defined, and I just don't even think 2 is close to 1. So for me, I think the Masters is the best, and I think McIlroy's outpouring of emotion showed that Masters is the best. He was so desperate for that one, being in the green jacket, being able to go to that Champions Dinner, the excitement that it garners every year as the first one, going back to the same place. For me, Masters the best. And then I think 20% down is the Open, which again I think is just then a clear second.
Yeah, big history,
historic, amazing golf courses, and all the rest.
Style,
100%. And then again, another 20% down, I think it's the US Open. They go to very cool, a lot of private courses in America, which I do think is a bit of a shame because you can't play all the US Open venues. Whereas I think all of the Open Rota you can go and pay a green fee at. They try and set it up as hard as possible. You kind of watch it going, I can't really imagine playing that golf course because it'd just be so heinously hard. But like, that's the test. Great, fine, real test of golf. The winner deserves it very much. Bang, number 3, still a great major. And then another 20%, if not more, USPGA, which, to be honest, just feels like a bit of a PGA Tour event on steroids.
I think it used to be match play, did it not? PGA, like way back when, like I'm talking a long time ago.
That would be cool.
It was a match play.
That would be. I know match play is not good for TV, and that's why they got rid of the Dell. But could you imagine a match play final for a major?
Well, 10 years ago, Ian Poulter would be like a 10-time major winner. He could say he's second to Tiger then.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's good. And quick note on the US Open, I thought that was a really good watch.
Yeah, it was. And I'll come clean. I didn't make it to the end on the Sunday. I was knackered and fell asleep, which when it goes, where was it? It was Oakmont. Which isn't even West Coast, but I was thinking more like when it's like Chambers Bay or Pebble or something like that. Like it's just like trying to stay up for it on a Sunday. It's like, oh my God.
I remember watching Gary Woodland win at Pebble, and I was actually in Spain, so I'm an hour further out.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3:30.
Yeah.
And I was laying in bed like, please don't go to a playoff. Please just win.
But I mean, JJ Spaun's not obviously the most kind of romantic winner, but you watch golf tournaments, I think, to have a moment right at the end. And in reality, he delivered a moment on the last hole.
And it was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And so I have to say, I woke up and I was a bit gutted that I didn't get to see that live, because watching any sport not live does just take the edge off it, doesn't it? It's not quite the same. So, but an amazing finish, a really good tournament. As I said, the US Open has a style. It's committed to a branding style, if that makes sense, of golf course, and they do a really good job each year, and I certainly tune it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, sometimes it goes a bit too extreme for the players,
but they still shoot like this. Winner still shoots over par. Like, when was the last time that there was an over par winner? Like, I mean, they really try every year, don't they? Yeah. And it's always a couple under that wins it.
Yeah, I think it's great that they don't get it wrong every year, but I also sometimes, you know, we're not playing it away. Love it when they do, when they lose the greens and it's like, oh, we can't hold this green and that one's dead. It's like, yeah, make your double, move on.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I think that's it, really. Any more kind of nuggets on any of the major season?
I'd be interested to know who was the most under par through the 4, and my guess, starting out, is Scheffler, obviously, because he's won 2. But take him out the question. And I guess it's a crap question actually for taking people out. I was gonna say, would Hatton be up there? Yeah. Would Rosie be up there? Probably not. Then I'm just answered my own question that it's actually not that interesting, but I thought it might have been.
But hey, good thought process. So yeah, that's it. 2025 majors are done quite ridiculously by the 20th of July, and we look forward to the Masters in 2026.
Yeah, only about 8 months to go. Thank you for reaching the end of the podcast, episode 10, covering the Open Championship and the major seasons as a whole across 2025. Please do like and subscribe across YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, Full Program Golf being the handle for us. And if anything you've heard today has just whetted your appetite for a bit of a links golf trip or any trip in general, please do head over to Full Program Golf. You can check out some course profiles, check out some inspirations for some trips that we've done, and we can get that set up for you. Thank you again.